I was thinking the other day how I'm really enjoying playing the matriarch, playing the samples on the Blackbox, but I keep having to turn over here to my pedal board to adjust settings on the pedals, and that's not ideal. And I could put it underneath of here, but then it takes it further away from the rack, which is where everything is plugged in, all the synths are plugged in. So I started thinking, what am I not using? What am I not putting to the fullest potential? And I realized it was this guy right here that you can kind of see, the xJam pad controller. So obviously we can use this for pads and drumming, which is what I've typically been doing, but I haven't used these encoders. So I thought it would be cool to try and set them up to control the pedals on the pedal board so that I could adjust my knobs here and it adjust the corresponding knobs on my two Chase Bliss pedals. And so I figured out how to do it. So let's dive into how to accomplish this yourself. All right, so here's how we're going to go about setting this up. We have our xJam right here. That is currently, USB is just going to power. MIDI is coming out of here. It's kind of tucked away, but then it's coming in up here at the top from the MIDI in. We have the matriarch here turned on because we're just using that as a MIDI controller currently via USB to go again to the Blackbox so that we can get MIDI data, okay? So in order to do this, the first thing we need to do is set up the encoders here to go to the correct channel and to do the right thing. So let's do that first, all right? And in order to do that, we need to unplug from the power. And so we're going to plug into our adapter, plug in to here, all right? And then on our program, we'll see it, the xJam editor. We will see that it loaded it in. We're going to go to configuration, and then from here you're just going to click on your encoder. Make sure you keep a note on which control bank and pad bank you're in. So this one is, we care about the encoders, so we care about the control bank. So on the green one, I have set this to be MIDI channel 7 and the CC is 14. So for me, that is going to the gen loss. And then I've done 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So that basically will just map these 6 knobs to the 6 knobs that are on the pedal. So that's great. And then what you do, this is a little bit backwards. You would think you could hit the control bank button for it to go through, but you can't. You have to hit it on the computer in the editor, which is a little weird. But in the yellow one, I have set these to be channel 5, which is Mood Mark 2. Again, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, because that's the MIDI CCs for the 6 knobs that are on the pedals. So that's pretty easy, just your channel and the CC, and then you just hit save to xJam and you're good to go. So that concludes what you do with the xJam. So now we can unplug it from the computer and plug it back into power, and then we'll look at our next step, which is going to be getting the pedal board set up correctly. So what I've done now is the MIDI out from the Blackbox is just going to a MIDI cable. Now what we'll do is we will plug that MIDI cable in to the input on the MC6 Pro. Okay. So we got MIDI going into the MC6 Pro. The Omni ports are going to Gen Loss and Mood, and then all we need to do is configure those ports accordingly. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Morningstar app because we are plugging in our MC6 Pro via USB-C, and then I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to plug it into USB up here, and we will select MC6 Pro, refresh our list because it's connected now, and we will say connect. So now we're connecting in the editor to the MC6 Pro, and all we have to do here is just go to controller settings, and then general configuration, and then we're just going to scroll down to this bottom section, okay, because what we care about is the MIDI through settings. So we're looking here at the DIN 5 MIDI in. That's what we have the Blackbox going into the MC6 Pro with, and we just want to say send that through to the Omni port. And I said 3.5mm too because I might send it to the Zoya, and that's connected via 3.5mm. But Omniport is what we care about to start because that's what is connected to our two Chase Bliss pedals. So you select that. After you make a change, you'll have to save and restart. I already have this made. So at this point, we're just going to disconnect. All right. We can unplug our USB-C cables. Okay, so we got to make one change, and that's on the Blackbox. We have to go to Tools and then MIDI, and then we need to come down and say MIDI out. And I believe we have to say MIDI, yeah, MIDI in through, because the xJam is going to the MIDI in, and we want that to go out of the MIDI out. We want it to go through and out of the MIDI. So now we should be able to do something really noticeable. And there's a little quirk about these encoders that I will show you in just a second, or you might even notice right away. So let's get something playing. And so you'll notice that it worked. First of all, that's great. But second of all, it went really extreme really fast. These encoders, they kind of snap to the extremes of either all the way at 0 or all the way at 127. So you kind of have to like start moving them and then go the other way. And so now, notice we have none of the wow. And we can start to work it in. See how, okay, that's the same as our mix knob, right? So I barely moved it. But I need to kind of reset this now, so. And now we can turn on the mood, go to our second control bank. I think this is a reverb. There you go. It's pretty straightforward. It's thankfully not having to change too many settings about things. And it enables you, like in this context, you know, think I'm playing a show, I have the Blackbox up here because I can have my samples in here, I can have drums in here, I can switch over to a different preset. I think I have a preset in here. Yeah, so here we have an electric piano. I switched that to be controlled by the matriarch. All right, turn this down a bit, get everything kind of back to where. Now, of course, that's running through the pedals, so like you're getting that extra reverb, but But if I wanted to, I could, you know, switch back to my gen loss and add some crunch in there. An effect on here, yeah. So I can do that and then destroy everyone with a distorted electric piano. But like, I think you get it. So we can pretty easily be able to mess around with everything on our pedals without having to go down to the ground, bend over, that kind of a thing. If I know that I'm like, hey, I just want to add in a little bit of that wow, or a little bit of that flutter. Then you can, just with your fingers right there. And then I can, you know, switch over to my mood and keep going. So it's, and then there's a third bank too that we didn't even program. So that also makes it more usable in terms of what we can do with it. All right, hopefully that was helpful, getting to see how to program this thing. Again, I know it's the context of this plus the Blackbox plus the, you know, Morningstar, the MC6 Pro, but hopefully you were able to take some of that and put it into your own setup if you don't happen to have all of these parts, because this is just a MIDI controller, so you should be able to set that up to do the same thing based on your own setup at home. And if you'd like more ideas of how you might be able to do that, feel free to ask questions in the comments below. And as always, subscribe if you want to see more of this type of content. And let me know what else you'd like to see. So, see ya next time. Bye. That was weird.